Well, good morning, everybody. Travels with Dottie here on the road again. So, all I'm doing is me and a couple of guys are going out for breakfast this morning in the Lucky Duck in beautiful downtown Artesia. And I got a kind of interesting video for you today. I'm not going to say much on the road here, but what I'm going to do is I am going to show you the entrance and the internals of the Lucky Duck. The two guys I'm with, I don't think want to be on film, so I'm not going to film our breakfast. Not everybody wants to be on YouTube. And then I just got a couple things to do. I need to drop off a couple of boxes at UPS. Need to fill my 20-pound propane tanks, and buy one or two things at the grocery store, and that's it. And I'm gonna head back home to I was gonna say the little house or tiny house, and it was pointed out to me that is not a tiny house. It's not a house. It doesn't have plumbing in it. It doesn't have a kitchen in it. It doesn't have a bathroom. We call that a casita. All right, I stand corrected. I won't call it a tiny house anymore. I'll call it a casita. And is that again, my Spanish speakers help me out. I'm gonna take a wild guess that that's Spanish for little house, small house, baby house. I don't know. Tell me. I know I could look this up so easily. I could ask Siri, but it's more fun to have you guys jump in and help me out. So I'm gonna do that. Then I have some footage that I took last night of I'll show you that right after I finish in town. I'm gonna show you footage of me receiving, it's getting cold in here, pre-prepared meals. It's called Factor. And I bought a week's worth, 8 days worth of meals. And I'm just testing it out to see if this is a way I could get more balanced nutrition than I've been getting. I don't hate to cook, but I don't love to cook. I would rather use frozen meals, but the frozen meals the taste is just usually not very good. So I unpack the box and I'll show you everything I got. And then I invite you to my first meal last night, which, spoiler alert, it's pretty darn good. I rated it a 9 out of 10. So we'll see that. That'll be a short little segment. And then I'm going to head on to the porch of the casita. And we're going to talk about things like, I've seen comments and questions that indicate misunderstandings and just wrong assumptions about things like Social Security and Medicare. And I know I've done a couple of videos on that, but I think covering that ground again, especially tailored for nomads, is a good idea. So I'm gonna cover that, maybe a couple of other comments that I think are interesting, and a little bit about, we'll talk a little bit about Quartzsite. It's always, the closer we get to the winter here, the more I'm going to talk about Quartzsite, especially since the season officially opened on the 15th. So like 10 days ago, the season opened. So, people with an annual or a season pass, that starts September 15th and goes through April 15th. So we are a month into the season down there. So, y'all know how much I love Quartzsite. I will see you when we get to the Lucky Duck. I thought I'd give you the shot of downtown before we get down to the Lucky Duck. It's about 1.5 miles, but I don't know about you, but I always like to see these older downtown areas. These circa early 20th century or even mid 20th century downtowns. They have a charm. And the older I get, the more I like them. And I think it's, well, I don't think, I think, I know it's about nostalgia becoming more important to us as we age. And in particular, we find ourselves in times that seem uncomfortable in any respect. It is very easy, at least for me, to look back on my past and with a little bit, we all do it. We have rose-colored glasses when we look back on our past. A good example of that, there's on
In 1 mile, turn left.
Thank you. There is, and we're out of downtown now, so we're to the, like, all the fast food restaurants and stuff, but that's where the Lucky Duck is. On Facebook, there are reels that play into nostalgia. They have actors, like, for example, playing I'm pulling over because I'm leading my friends, and they don't know how to get to the Lucky Duck, so I had to pull over and wait for them. I got a little far ahead of them. Anyway, these reels they have actors playing like kids from the 1980s or 1970s with the hairstyles and such, and the backgrounds and everything. And they say things like, things tough in 2025. Well, you can always come back and join us. And they talk about what things were like back then, and it tugs on your heartstrings. It paints a picture of how carefree and wonderful things were in the 1980s or the 1970s, and they play on the fact that they know that's the way we remember those years. And it's the same thing, driving through an older downtown. It reminds you of those days of yesteryear, 4th of July parades and Little League games and drive-in movies. And I think I did it again. I made it through an intersection again. Just because we arrived, I should have shown you the approach, but I got talking. I know that's a shock, huh?
Turn right. Keep left, then the destination is on your left.
Here's the Lucky Duck.
The destination is on your left, Lucky Duck Grill. Arrived.
There's the Lucky Duck. Oh. There's the Lucky Duck. I'm sorry. I don't know how that happened. I thought it was pointed out, and I wasn't. All right. Let's anchor out. I'm having to wrap my phone, my brand new iPhone 17 Pro Max, in cloth because the phone arrived before the case. So I'm just trying to be... And here's the world famous Lucky Duck Grill. And here we are. Morning. I'm out here. And here it is. There's three of us. Well, I didn't plan on this, but I'm sitting outside in the parking lot after breakfast, and it was just a really pleasant breakfast today. I talked to we went with a couple of guys, both of which were veterans, and both of which had fathers in World War II like me, and we just had such a nice time talking, and it's always an honor to be around people that are veterans. There was something else I wanted to say. Oh, this is what was on my mind. So there were three of us, and we ordered breakfast, and they delivered the breakfast to the first two guys and looked at me and said, "I'm sorry, what did you order?" And I said what I ordered, and they forgot, something slipped up and they didn't put in the order. And they said they'd get it done as soon as possible. And guys, when you're on the road and you're retired, you don't care. I mean, what's my punishment? I get to sit there a little longer and talk to a couple of friends drinking coffee? Oh my gosh, terrible. And they get to apologizing. I'm like, you don't need to apologize. It's fine. Bring it when it's ready. I'm perfectly okay. And, you could tell they're not used to hearing that kind of reaction, but that's one of the things that this lifestyle does for us. So I need to zip around town, zigzag a little bit, because the first thing that I need to do is a mile and a half away is I need to
continue on West Main Street for 1 mile.
I need to drop off packages to UPS, and the reason I need to do that first, even though it's not as convenient, is one of the boxes that I'm doing for a friend is pretty big. I need to get rid of that out of the back. So
turn right toward West Main Street, then turn right onto West Main Street.
All right, it's okay. I'll be there in a second. I'm talking to my phone. We got a little bit of traffic here. So I need to be able to get to the propane tanks back there, so I need to get rid of this big box. I got one big box and one little box. And we need to go to Brown's drugstore because they have a little UPS station there. So that's where we're going. And then I'll come back across town to here, to right where we're passing here, to go to the country market and pick up a few things. I could slip in there now, but I just want to get this part done. Don't ask me why. There's no logic to it, but I'm a retired dude. I don't need logic. I think it's just because the biggest pain in the neck is these packages, and I just want to be free of them. But I could have stopped there. I even have, and I don't even think I need to buy anything frozen or refrigerated, but if I did, I keep a cooler in the car. And that's a big tip for you. If you're a nomad, buy a nice little, not an expensive, but a nice little insulated cooler. So when you go grocery shopping, if you have to go far away to do it and it's summer or something, you can put your frozen and your refrigerator items in the cooler, and you don't need to worry about it. What do you think of that? That's a good RVer nomad tip. $2.99.9, so that's $3 a gallon. Looks like prices may be edging up a little bit. What do you guys say out there? Are gas prices edging up a little bit? I think it'll ever be. When I bought my first car, I think the gas prices were 35 cents a gallon. Do you think that'll ever happen again? Probably not, huh? Are you still looking at me? To show you we're going to go through downtown again. I kind of wish there was a setting
In a
where,
quarter mile, turn right onto South 7th Street.
hopefully they'll come up with, on this camera has a front and rear lens. That's why I'm able to flip back and forth. And technically you can run them both at the same time because that's the 360 degrees. But if you do that, you have to do some fairly...
At the light, turn right onto South 7th Street.
You need to do some editing. But I'd like it so you can switch it from 360 to either the front or back camera.
In a quarter mile, turn left onto West Washington Avenue.
You could do either front or back and switch back and forth. The thing that it doesn't do that would be really beneficial for me is record the static front and back simultaneously, not necessarily 360, where either in editing or somewhere, because here I can just upload what I've shot and not worry about editing. I didn't run, no, there was no stop sign there. I really, when I'm in town like this, I really got to be vigilant about these stop signs. And if I miss one, or God forbid have an accident because I missed one, then that'll be no more recording in town when I'm driving. And I do give priority to my driving over recording YouTube videos. And you can often tell, right? Because
turn left onto West Washington Avenue.
Like you'll get pauses like that. And the pauses mean I'm paying attention to traffic or directions or turning. So you don't get very fluid conversation.
In 1,000 feet, your destination will be on the left.
A 1,000 feet doesn't sound like, it sounds really super close, but it's not. It's 1,000 feet. It's pretty far away. And here it is, Brown's, the Rexall Drugs, that's Brown Drugs. And they have a...
Your destination is on the left.
Yes, it is. Thank you very much, iPhone person. Oh, and there's right across the street is a really cool looking house. So we'll show that to you on the way out. How's that sound? So I'm going to pause here. Here, let me turn around. I'm going to turn around here and show you that house that's for sale that I like. And I'll tell you the first thing I really like about it. I bet you can guess when you see it. So there's the house. And I just love the big wide porch. I think it's wonderful. And a swing and bench there. Looks like there's some covered parking behind it. Big wide covered parking behind it, so there's no garage. but there is covered parking. You put multiple cars in there. So I'm gonna we're gonna go to the propane place because that's my next pain in the neck errand. And so if you know my channel and been watching me, well, why are you filling those 20-pound? You've got there's 20-pound tanks. You've got your big tank out there. Your big it's 100-gallon tank on a pad out there by your rig. So one, I want to be prepared, for the trip down to the Quartzsite. So I like to have full tanks, and I also like to have. I've got 100 gallons plus, 5 20-pound tanks, and I like to have them all full because, that represents peace of mind and energy for me. Why do I say energy? It's not just for burning; it's for the Predator generator I have runs on propane. So you can imagine how long I could run my generator, especially if I use it judiciously. If we had some kind of prolonged grid problem. So, I think it's about 4 gallons per 20-pound tank. So I've got, another 20 gallons. So I've got 120 gallons of propane. And that's not quite true because they never fill up the big tank all the way because it gets so hot in the summer, and it would the relief valve would go off. So about 80% full. So I've probably got 100 gallons. That's still running that. I have no idea how long that generator would run just on eco mode, or if it would, God forbid, the summer, it would have to run a lot more with air conditioning. But still, here's with that amount of fuel, if I run out of that fuel and the electricity's not up, the country's got bigger problems. They're big. That's a huge problem. And so I'm thinking I could get through moderate problems very easily. So that's another thing about my home base and how I do things that gives me, like, the thing that I love so much is peace of mind. We were talking about this over breakfast. We all shared that we have our places that we live here that we've bought into, that we're comfortable as a place to live that's very low cost, that we could all stop traveling and retreat to for prolonged periods of time for not much money. That's peace of mind. That is absolute peace of mind. And, the older I get, the more I value that. Sometimes it's hard to see, where do you get propane here? But it's here at the Shamrock, and it's owned by the company that gives me my big tanks. So here we are. I'll just go in and tell them they got a customer, and they'll come out and they'll take care of me. I'll be right back. Very interesting that it's $1 more per gallon of propane here in Artesia than it was up in Taos. That's kind of surprising, especially with. Now it's an oil town. It's not a propane town, so that doesn't really. I don't know. Maybe you can tell me. Do they also have propane wells here as well. I don't know much about that. So if you're from Artesia and you know the gas and oil business, you could tell me, please, in the comments. So our last leg of the errand today is going to be going to Fenn's, my favorite grocery store. Just a couple of things I need, including batteries. I'm out of batteries. That's no good, right? And then after we come out of there, well, actually, I'm going to show you where it is in the outside of the store, and then we'll cut to I mentioned in the beginning, the factor food that I tried last night, and then I'm continuing. I'll continue to keep you updated on that. And then we'll have a little chat outside the casita, and that'll be today's video. I hope it goes well. And here's downtown again. I can't get me enough of downtown. I love downtown. Looks like a little barbecue, portable restaurant there. Smoked barbecue. Bet that's probably pretty good. What else do we have here? Boxing, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, and fitness. And come at the Wellhead restaurant, and I still got to check out the Wellhead. Have lunch at the Wellhead. And I think they open at noon time. And then up here on the right is the Land of the Sun Theater, an old classic theater. Just love those old classic theaters, and I love drive-ins. I saw a video on a young couple that bought the oldest drive-in in the country. I think it's in Tennessee, and they keep it open year-round. And it was a whole video about how they bought the business, how they ended up buying the business, and how they financed it, and how things are going. But boy, did I love drive-ins when I was a kid. Just love going to the drive-in in the summer. And I don't remember much caring what was playing. And the cheeseburgers that were wrapped in like foil at the drive-in always tasted so good. I don't know why, they just did. That's part of that. I was talking about nostalgia earlier, and that's part of it, you know, piling a bunch of friends into a car. I think there were sometimes they would charge you by the car and then sometimes by the person. I seem to remember by the car, but, you know, and people would bring lawn chairs, or, you know, some people would back a pickup truck in and sit in the bed of the pickup truck in chairs. It was just fun. And there are just so few of them left these days. Talk about a communal experience. It was actually a drive-in would, in my mind, is more communal than a regular theater. You're all outside together. It's just, I miss it. And I'm glad there are people out there keeping those businesses alive in this country. Maybe there's blessed few of them, but there are still a few, because of people like the couple that bought that drive-in. And apparently that drive-in was for sale for years, and no one was biting. And they bought it for $1 million. They got an SBA loan, and Small Business Administration loan, but they still had to come up with, I think if I remember right, they had to come up with close to $100,000 in cash. You know, the SBA just won't give you a loan for the whole thing. You got to come up with some money. You know, and they do it. They are open in the winter, and yes, it snows there, and they have show movies while it's snowing, which is, you know, they said, you know, we have to do it. It's so tight to just break even. We have to be open year round. I was a little worried about them only because the B-roll that they were doing that showed people watching a movie. It wasn't many cars. It wasn't very full, but I hope they do better than what they showed on the video. It seems like they do. It seems like they're not losing money. And here we are, Fenn's Country Market. Yay! And there's a space. There's a parking space right here. Look at that. It's like executive parking. I'll be right back. You know what? I'm gonna cut to the taste testing because there's not much more to say here. All right, this is Rob Travels with Dottie, and there's a little section here. This is not sponsored, not an ad. I'm not paid to do this. I'm here because I thought you might be interested. I've been wondering, you know, how can I, with a minimal amount of effort and not too much money, how can I eat a more balanced diet? And so I'm sure you've heard of Factor. So this is my first shipment of Factor that I'm getting. When I opened my account, I already had one, and it said, well, you've gotten a shipment from us before. And I'm like, I believe you, but I don't remember it. It had to have been a long time ago. And I suspect if it happened, I wasn't probably too impressed. So it's cold, so it's packed in these sort of ice things. So the first thing was a bonus that I got, smoky uncured bacon and cheddar egg bites. So that was free. And then we have a couple of these things, and these things are cold and they're kind of wet. So the first thing is Santa Fe green chili beef skillet. I think there are 8 of them. Then chicken and mushroom tetrazzini. Fajita spiced pork chop and peppers. Truffle butter chicken and mushroom risotto. Another cooling thing. So how many is that? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and there are 4 more left. Pork tenderloin. Garlic herb chicken. Okay, 2 more left. We have turkey and mushroom cheddar melt. And the last one is stroganoff style beef burger. And that's it. There's one more. This is actually still frozen at the bottom. So it kept it refrigerated very well. I mean, I was here when it came by FedEx, and I was here when it got delivered. So I got it. So tonight, in a couple hours, when I do one, what one should I do? Let's make a decision. There was one that was particularly sound intriguing. Truffle butter chicken and mushroom risotto. We'll try that tonight, and I'll show you on here what it's like and what I think. Okay, guys, here we go. And this is the truffle butter chicken and mushroom risotto. And it was just 3 minutes in the microwave. And we'll try the chicken first, the chicken breast. It's actually quite good. It's warm. It's seasoned just right. It's good. It's really good. And so there's green beans. And this is
pardon me, the risotto. So let's try the beans. Okay, I can't stand green beans out of the can, but this is not what this is. This tastes fresh. They're almost a little crunchy. And again, the seasoning is perfect for me. Did you hear Dottie there? Dottie has eaten, but Dottie doesn't like me eating without sharing. I'll share a little with her. I got to tell you, I would give this on a 10 scale. I would give this truffle butter chicken and mushroom risotto. I would give this meal a 9 out of 10. Now, this is I'll put on the screen up here. This is the price for the first week. Real attractive, right? I kicked the camera, sorry. But then that's just the first week. You get that big discount to entice you. And so here's the price for the following week for 8 meals. You know, it's in the 90s. I can't remember right now just sitting here, but like $95. So it's, you know, it's in the neighborhood of $10 per meal. But is it worth it to have, you know, a well-balanced meal that tastes good, that has vegetables, that I don't have to worry about preparing? We'll see how we do after this first week, but I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say this is a good idea. So back to my regular video. All right, as promised, here I am at the casita, and let's jump right into it. Social Security. Here's an example of a comment I got. You made a mistake. If you take Social Security early but keep working, the money you have to pay if you earn over the limit is lost because your benefit doesn't go to the maximum it would have been had you taken it 67. It stays reduced for life. That is just flat out wrong, bad information. And normally I delete these. I just don't want bad information on here, but I did say you're incorrect. You do not lose the money. It goes back in your full retirement calculation. When I do these things, I always give a reference, and the reference I gave was a Social Security publication called, here it is, ssa.gov-pubs- well, it's a picture of the comment. So if I try to go click on it, it doesn't do anything because it's a picture and not an actual hyperlink. But, you know, you got questions on Medicare or Medicaid or Social Security, their websites are good. They have the answers. So I think I just Googled Social Security Administration working while taking Social Security in this publication, and it explains. Hang on just a second. Okay, I wanted to work this part out exactly. How does it recalculate your benefit? And any months your benefit was withheld due to excess earnings or subtracted from the count of early retirement months, that effectively raises your monthly benefit going forward. So you claim, for an example, if you claim 24 months before full retirement age, 2 years, so typically 65 instead of 67, and Social Security withheld because you worked too much, 12 months worth, then at full retirement, they recalculate as if you retired 12 months early instead of 24. So you get the money back. It's in your calculation. You don't get a lump sum check, but your full retirement benefits recalculate for, so right now, my full retirement is 67, so it's 5 years prior. That's 60 months. Now, if I went crazy and had to give bunch, 2 years worth, say, back, and they just stopped, what they'll do is they'll just stop issuing checks for 2 years. to make up for that. And then when I'm 67, it'll recalculate my full retirement benefit and I'll get more money. So that's how that works. I just wanted to clear that up. Now, when you're going to go over your retirement, allowed income in early retirement, you need to tell them as soon as you know, so they can take care of things. So you're not shocked that suddenly you get a letter and your Social Security benefits stop. Right now, I think this year it's about $23,000, and that is earned income. Pensions don't count, investment income doesn't count, 401k distributions don't count, only earned income. So try to remember that. Medicare. There was some, let me see if I can find the Medicare one. I'm not sure I kept it. No, I didn't keep it, but there was definitely a misunderstanding about how Medicare works in the different parts. There is no dental care within Medicare at all, although it is possible that you can get an Advantage plan that has dental included to some degree. So, and that's actually a benefit that you get from the insurance company that's doing your Advantage plan that's above and beyond what Medicare pays for. Now, I think there's certain exceptions. If you have a terrible injury where there's dental surgery required, I think Medicare pays for that. But routine cavities, root canals, implants, things like that, Medicare doesn't pay for unless you go through an Advantage plan and they cover dental. So you would have to check with your individual Advantage plan. The other thing is that Medicare, Part A, Part B, et cetera, does not, and supplement plans like I have the Cadillac, the Part G, none of that pays for medications. The only exception is if you have medications that are given in the doctor's office by the doctor, like some kind of injection, that would be covered under Part B. But going to the pharmacy and picking up your meds, you gotta get a Part D separate policy for that. And those policies, I've seen them run anywhere from $0 a month all the way up to, I think I got one of the more expensive ones. It's about almost $90 a month because I have a very expensive medication that I take. And it's worth reviewing that every single year during open enrollment at the end of the year, because they'll make changes to your benefits. Keep on top of it. I advise you to work with a licensed insurance agent that really knows this stuff and that you can trust. So those were the two misunderstandings that I was worried about. Let's look at a couple of other things, and some of them have to do with Quartzsite, which I'm glad. A viewer says, I'm kind of worried about my dog and cat in the desert. Are there a lot of rattlesnakes and coyotes and BLM in LTVA areas? I also heard rattlesnakes are protected in Arizona. I don't know about the protected part, but there are lots of rattlesnakes in the desert in Arizona. That's very common. Although in the winter, they're pretty much dormant, and it's almost unheard of for someone to say they saw one in the winter. Early in the season, September, late in the season, and middle to end of March and on, they start coming out, and people start have sightings. And I don't worry. I've never seen a rattlesnake. I've never heard about anyone getting bitten by a rattlesnake, but it happens, and it happens with dogs. I keep Dottie on a pretty short leash when we're out in the desert, and I don't let her go into vegetation where I can't see or rocks where I can't see. I've got my eye on her all the time to prevent that. It's funny, you don't have to worry about your cat though with a rattlesnake, because the cat, look this up on YouTube, there are tons of videos about cats versus rattlesnakes. The millisecond response time of a cat is greater than that of the fastest rattlesnake, so cats will beat rattlesnakes every time. So, not that you should let your cat out in Quartzsite, because that's the other thing. You're worried. There are coyotes. There are coyotes all over the place all winter long. Pup Camper 58, my friend Cheryl, was out with her dog and got stalked by a big coyote. It was kind of a frightening thing. Letting a small dog or something out by itself that small animal could become coyote bait really quickly. And this had not just at night, but in the middle of the day. Again, there is keep your pet on a leash. It's required out there. You can't have your pet off leash. Pet's got to be on leash. So keep your pet close to you, and you should absolutely be fine. So if that's the case, I don't consider rattlesnakes or coyotes any kind of threat to my animals. Here's the part. I have only one question. Does Part B cover any dental? And the answer to that was no. Let's see. Walter, this is a great post. I really like this. Walter says, I'm not a snowbird, but I love to go to Quartzsite every year because of the people. The people in the stalls at Tyson Wells, the big tent, the food trucks, the rock and gem sellers, and just the wide open spaces. You never know what you're going to find there during the time of the big tent in January. Plus, there are other smaller flea markets scattered throughout the town to explore. Too much to see if traveling from LA on a day trip. Better to camp out or rent a room close by for a few days to be able to take your time and really take in what it's all about. Don't forget to stop by Beer Bellies for a cold one. And it's Beer Bellies is an outdoor sort of beer and hamburger and hot dog place that has live entertainment, and it's also dubbed the Adult Daycare Center. Don't forget to stop by Beer Bellies for a cold one and some live music while you're there. Thanks for your explanation of the goings on there. Great video, by the way. Thanks. Thanks, Walter. And that's a great comment. It's a great endorsement of Quartzsite in the winter. In this one, Carol says, sweet video. I love Quartzsite. I have a little social anxiety, so it's hard to reach out, but I feel happy there, knowing that there are others doing what I'm doing in Q. I don't feel like a social outcast. It is a great place for introverted people, people with social anxiety, because you're in good company. There are lots of people with those issues in Quartzsite, and you will run into them, and you will feel welcomed and included. And I hear that story over and over again from folks. Ronald says, hey, you're right about coming there, and he means Quartzsite. For the friendships we all make, it was my first time going there. I didn't know what to do or what to see, as I didn't do my searching online at all of all the things to see or do. I was looking to meet others to tell me about things to do or see, but it was easy once you get there. I'm planning on going again and can't wait. Thanks for your posting of letting others know what a fun place it is. And then B-Top says, what your experience there with rodents? I want to go, but nowadays it seems that popular boondocking locations are usually infested with mice. I don't know that that's true. Are there places infested with mice? Absolutely. Do people have problems with rodents in some places? Yes. My advice is don't park up against vegetation, because that's where they live. Park 20 feet away from the, they call them washes, and you can tell washes because that's where the green vegetation is. Stay away from the washes. I've never had a problem with a rodent in Quartzsite. Up in Eagle Nest, I did last year, and I did get convinced in these home remedies for things. I'm rarely convinced, but I got convinced about peppermint. There peppermint oil. There's little sticks you can buy and things, and peppermint. Here's what convinced me. A guy did a video on YouTube, and he had a cardboard box, and he put peanut butter in it with a night vision camera focused on it. And the first night you saw all the lines of mice going in and eating the peanut butter. The next night, he left the peanut butter exactly the same, but put peppermint in there, and you could see the mice come into the entrance and hesitate, and not one of them entered, so that convinced me. So I use peppermint under the hood of my truck when I'm in Eagle Nest up in the mountains. So that's my 2 cents on rodents. Roddy says, completely get the introvert part. I'm exactly the same. Introvert doesn't mean antisocial. Excellent. It does not mean antisocial. You are a great narrator. I really enjoy your videos. I'm hoping to get there in a couple of years, hopefully meet you. Do you have a video on what your plans are for the possibility that you may not be able to nomad anymore? Would you park your RV somewhere and settle down there? I don't want a bricks and sticks, but I can't drive a fifth wheeler, so I just explore options. I did go through some of your videos, but couldn't find that topic. Well, I have a reply, but again, it's a picture. I can't see what it was. This is what you're looking at. This is a permanent place for me this is my spot. And next to it over here is a concrete pad where my RV is, just a couple steps away from the little casita here. And it's very inexpensive for me. I just pay, pretty much I just pay my utilities and an area association fee, and that's it. That's it. And it's I can stay here for as long as I want, for as many years as I want. You know, there are places like Escapees in Texas has a RV park called CARE, C-A-R-E, and it's for people that need assistance, people that are elderly and can't really do RV life much anymore, but still want to live in an RV. There's facilities there and people to help with things like laundry and propane and dumping tanks and things of that nature. And there's also nursing and home care available, you know, for an extra fee. And that's about, for a single person, I think it's about $1,100 a month, if I remember right. For 2 people, it's more like $1,500 a month. But it's an option. A lot of people use it when they're getting over a surgery. They will go there. And that was a possibility for me when I had my hip replacement. But I had Pup Camper 58, Cheryl, who took care of me in the desert there in Quartzsite when I recovered from my hip surgery. But, and then eventually, you know, I recognized that I may have to go to a nursing home. You know, and people that worry about that, oh, I don't have the money for a nursing home. Well, when it's time, and hopefully you or your family will know when it's time. If you don't have the money, there's an asset and earnings test, and basically the government will put you on Medicaid along with your Medicare. There are nursing homes that will put you up for that. And you know, please don't get on and tell me how terrible the nursing homes are. I get it that there's some that are terrible, but when I did social work, I went into ones that I thought were terrible, and I went into many others that I thought were wonderful, and I could see myself there. I think that you or your family would need to shop around a little bit, but and actually the more disposable income that you have, the better you can do in terms of higher level places in higher level nursing homes and care centers. But that's all individualized. You're taken care of if you don't have the money. So that's not something that you need to worry a ton about. And so that's it. That's pretty much everything that I have today. And I'm actually caught up. For a couple of weeks, I've been like 5 or 6 days ahead on videos. Well, I got to tell you, it's 4:30 on the 25th, and this video is coming out tomorrow morning. So I am caught up to the day before or day of doing videos now. So what I want to close with, though, is on a prior video, I showed you the mini split that I got here, and I want to show you the whole installation, because I just showed you the inside unit. It's small, but that's the tip of the iceberg. So Let's take a look at the rest of it. Come on with me. Okay, there was where I was just sitting. There's Dottie dog. And here's a little storage shed by the casita. And here's where my electrical comes in. And I had to have an electrician put in this whole other circuit. And I'll show you how he ran it. He ran it. This is all new here, this conduit. You go in here, you can see the conduit runs down here and goes all the way to the back side of the casita. And I'll take you over there and show you that. Okay, came out right here, then it goes up along the top and over here to this junction box. And that's where the power comes for this bad boy here. And this is the main unit. And the feed goes through here, through these conduits, all the way back into here. And on the other side is the actual unit. And you didn't see it before. Let me take you in there and show it to you. All right. Hey, look, there's George. Hi, George. Hey, kitty. Meow. All right, so here it is up here on the wall. And I'm not suppressing any noise. This is as loud as it gets, if you can even hear that. And it's a 12,000 BTU unit, and it comes with a handy remote there. Right now, it's got it down to 71. It's 86 outside. Give you a little tour here. This is my big screen TV. This is my workstation where I do my editing and a lot of my filming. There's a little fridge, a cat eating station. My couch, and either end of the couch is a recliner, which is really nice. Little side table, a place where usually George naps down there. Dottie likes the couch. And this is how it used to be cooled, and I left that in there so I have a backup air conditioner. And then we have a couple closets. We store stuff in there. Another closet here. I keep a little bit of food, and the recent purchases I've made for my trip to New York. I'm going to model that for you soon with my yellow suspenders and yellow tie. I think it's going to look really good. But let's flip this back around. And I want to thank you for watching this video today. I hope you liked it. And I'll see you on the next one. I have to do another one tomorrow if I want to have a video on Saturday, right? Thanks for watching. Thank you.